Hello, Simran. Good to have you on the podcast with me today. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you ended up at ThreatSpike?
Well, I'm Simran, and I'm currently a university student going into my second year at Royal Holloway, and I'm studying computer science. So currently I'm
Nice.
doing a 3-year course, and I'm perhaps looking to do a placement year and a master's in the future. Um,
Okie
as
dokie.
far as getting into cybersecurity, it goes back quite a long way.
Oh,
So I,
tell
I
me.
wasn't always into computer science. I actually wanted to do law for the longest time. But then I think school really changed me, and taking it for GCSEs, it got me really into computers and everything, which I didn't initially picture myself getting into, but I haven't really looked away from that path since then.
What interested you specifically? What sort of piqued your interest?
I think learning programming really helped a lot and got me interested in that side of things. But then also signing up to the Cyber First Girls competition with some of my friends, I was able to practice a lot of cybersecurity related exercises, and I just wanted to explore that world even more, which brings me to where I am now.
What's Cyber First Girls competition? Tell me about that.
Also, it's like by GCHQ, they run that. So
Oh,
that sort of got me into the whole spectrum of that.
right. Okay. So you went away from law, you went into the world of programming and then security at university, and then you've ended up working at ThreatSpike. So how did that come about?
So I was actually researching some places that I could hopefully apply to for an internship in my first year. And there aren't many that do offer them for first years because you don't have many qualifications or not much experience at university. But then I came across ThreatSpike and thought that maybe I could maybe get into contact with somebody from there. And then I was
Hmm.
interviewed by Sabina and got to work under her, which was great. And then I got in, which is, I mean, it's been amazing.
Oh, so you actively went and found it. It didn't just come to you, via a recruiter or whatever. You literally went out there and researched ThreatSpike, found it,
Yeah, I knew
and
about
made it
ThreatSpike.
happen.
I knew about the company. Yeah.
That's really good to hear. So, how long have you been with ourselves?
Well, I've done a 6-week internship, which has actually flown by.
Has it really? Yeah. What have
Yeah,
you been up
really
to during
fast.
that time?
Well, I've been supporting a lot of the pen testers, and I've been drafting up an incident response plan for one of the clients, which has been really good. And
Okay.
I gave a presentation to them recently, which was a completely new experience for me. But also, I'm really
Hmm.
grateful that I was able to do that.
How did you find public speaking then, doing the presentation and all of that side?
It was a bit nerve-wracking at first, but it was quite good to settle into then, and definitely great to experience that as an intern instead of straight away diving into it in the professional world.
Mm. I mean, you're miles ahead of where I was when I was at university, that's for sure. So you're doing great in that regard. So with the threat spike work itself, obviously it's different, I would say, to the perspective of security that you might get at university. How's the experience that you've gained at ThreatSpike made you, I suppose, think differently, not just about security itself, but also the wider world of business and how it applies to security?
Mainly because I'm studying computer science at university, not cybersecurity. It's been quite good to explore that in more depth instead of it just being a side module at university. And actually
Yeah.
gaining experience working in it and in that environment has been really great. And also appreciating that it's not always pen testing and all of that, it's also documenting and everything. So you get both sides of things. It's not just always, being in the environment. You also have to do the write ups and all the reporting afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's definitely an important side to it. I think as well with working for a company like ThreatSpike, there's a lot of varied responsibility.
Yeah.
As you, if you work somewhere else, you might just be doing one thing day in, day out. And I think novelty is the spice of life, someone told me once. So I think it's cool that you've been able to do a wide variety of tasks in your internship. Do you think when you go back to university that it'll give you a bit of a head start?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've definitely gained a lot of experience from this, and I wouldn't have been able to get lots of the knowledge of what I've done at ThreatSpike in university, so it's been good to do in my free time as well. and it's been good to work
Mm.
with the people that I've been able to work with.
Learning a fair bit from real world
I'm learning
experiences.
so much from everyone, learning a lot.
Go on, break it down a little bit. Give me a little bit, without revealing sensitive information, of course. Give me a little bit of an example of what you've learned.
Well, in my first few days, I was quite clueless as an intern. So I definitely have to thank, I know it sounds like I'm buttering up a lot, but I have to thank Sabina so much because
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was so patient with me and she actually took the time to explain a lot of the tasks to me. So I was able to learn a lot from her.
Okay, that's good. And then in the real world of actually what you've been looking at in terms of reports and everything else, how did that differ, like the report writing, to what you might expect when you came into the job?
I've never really seen the reporting side of things. I've only because I've entered competitions and I've entered like the advanced courses for cybersecurity and things, but I've never really had experience with reports. So that was a whole new experience for me, and that was mainly what I was working on. So it was, I mean, it was good working on those though.
Good. Okay. Well, as you know, I work in the sales side, so I'm going to give you a sales task now. If you had a potential candidate for ThreatSpike, someone you 6 weeks ago, just looking for an internship, and you bumped into them in an elevator, right? So you never spoke to them, and you find out, you know what, they could be really good for ThreatSpike. How would you convince them in 30 seconds that this is the route they should take?
Oh, I don't think I'm made for sales at all. There's really, oh, I have to think about this. Um, well, they need to be really passionate about the job
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Then they have to have interest in all sorts of areas of cybersecurity because it's an ever-changing landscape. It's not always going to be the same thing that you're going to be working on. Um, but I mean, as long as they have the interest, which is what I had, and they have the passion for it, then I tell them to go for it because you don't really
So
have anything to lose.
So you'd bump into them in the elevator and you'd say, as long as if you're definitely passionate about security and you've got the interest there, then this company is going to be right for you to really accelerate your learning.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, there you go. Okay, cool. So you've had this 6 week internship and then it's back to university. Then what's the plan after that, do you think?
Mm. Okay, get through university first for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then hopefully do a master's somewhere else. Um, and then maybe perhaps come back to ThreatSpike if I'm given an opportunity. Otherwise, definitely explore the cybersecurity world for sure.
And obviously, there's varied roles within cybersecurity delivery, right? There's penetration testers, there's people who work in the security operations center, there's people who do specific areas of testing. There's loads of different roles. Has a two-part question: has ThreatSpike given you more direction on where you might take your career? And secondly, what do you think that direction actually ultimately might be specifically?
Yeah, of course. I've definitely always been interested in incident response because I think it's more of the thrill of things of being able to like help somebody with an incident if something's gone wrong and being hands-on with it. That's what's always piqued my interest in the area, but also pen testing. So I definitely know I want to go into something more hands-on. So ThreatSpike has really helped me sort of know that that's what I want to do. Because from reading all the reports, even though I've not been able to pen test myself because I'm not qualified enough yet, um, reading all the reports has just made me even more interested in that area because of all the things that they've been up to and all the things that they've done and their experiences. It's made me even more interested in being able to do that in the future.
The thrill of incident response. Eh? Okay. I mean, I've never obviously been on the delivery side of that, but I know it's an incredibly stressful time for customers. And our teams go above and beyond to help solve those incidents. But it's obviously a lot of pressure on the delivery side as well. But it sounds like you like that pressure and it makes you perform better and enjoy it more, right?
Oh, I love working under pressure for sure. And I love problem solving. So even being able to help out with an incident and helping a company would really make me feel really good.
Mm. Okay, well, it sounds like you've really enjoyed the internship, which we're really proud that you have. And obviously, I don't think you need to worry about the future. It sounds like you've got a great future ahead of you. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.